Almost every year, we see a new shonen IPs getting hyped up. While many start their story by following the same formula, they eventually branched off of it and found their own identity and uniqueness. But every now and then, there's always that one show that's just weird from the beginning, that doesn't seem to really care about the rules that exist. The show I'm talking about is Dandadan. Coming out in fall 2024, Dandadan's story revolves around two high schoolers, Momo and Okarun, who hold opposing beliefs. Okarun has an obsession with aliens and UFOs. He believes in their existence while dismisses the existence of ghosts. Momo, on the other hand, is the granddaughter of a spirit medium.
Then something just snapped! Something inside of me!
Making her believes in the supernatural realm but not in aliens. Their bizarre adventure begins as both of them try to prove each other wrong. Okarun goes to a haunted place while Momo goes to an alien hotspot. To your surprise, Okarun encounters a ghost and Momo gets abducted by an alien, which results in Okarun getting cursed, gaining supernatural powers, and Momo obtaining her psychic abilities. Now of course, what just happened isn't something that weird. What's weird is the what and the how of it all. So like Okarun goes to this haunted place, right, where he met this creepy grandma ghost that will later curse him. But what the creepy grandma ghost said to him is this. So when Okarun finally got cursed, it means, you guessed it, he lost his family jewels. The aliens that abducted Momo said that they want to gain reproductive function similar to humans. So they said this. Mind you, all of this happens in just the first episode, and it just gets weirder and weirder as the story goes on. Heck, some of the scenes later on just cannot be watched out of context. I think you get the idea by now. But what surprised me though, is that the show isn't just about throwing absurdity at you non-stop. You know, watching the first 4 episodes, I initially thought this was just a crazy shonen anime that's fun, comedic, and will probably have cool action sequences here and there. However, beneath all its craziness, the show surprisingly can get its serious moments to feel right. There's one episode that got me emotionally invested, and no, it is not episode 7, but episode 5. Episode 1 to 4 is where all the wild, wacky stuff is happening, but 5 is when the show really slowed things down by giving us little to no action at all. And that episode made me realize how much I enjoyed these two as our protagonists, as it's just about a boy and a girl trying to make sense of their personal feelings towards one another, sharing awkward yet genuine interactions. And it also made me realize that the show's strength isn't just in the action or comedy, but the characters as well. It is something that's always been present since the first episode. Momo, the more popular girl at school, growing a relationship with Okarun, a loner. And while the concept isn't something new, putting it in a shonen anime that is this chaotic feels refreshing. The chemistry between these two have always been the soul of the story. It's the reason I keep watching every new episode that come out. That being said, with all the show's bombastic actions, interesting character writing and dynamics, offbeat and quirky comedy, it still isn't enough to push Dandadan to be the talk of the industry. That is where episode 7 comes in. This episode is, no doubt, one of the best anime episodes of the year. Every praise that it got is no exaggeration. It is that good. Remember when I said that the show's strength isn't just in its action or comedy, but also the characters? Well, there's one more aspect that I didn't mention, because that particular aspect truly shines in this specific episode. And that is directing. A creative decision for a direction of an anime, or in this case, an episode of an anime, can get overlooked when it's not different enough. But surely, when the directing is exceptional, viewers can at least notice or distinguish it. Let me explain. I like to differentiate directing into 2 types. The first is the more ambitious or artistic approach. This is when the director takes creative risk by altering the art style, experimenting with unique animation cuts, or using expressive, unconventional techniques to elevate the storytelling. The second is a more subtle approach. It is where everything feels familiar to the show's established style, but executed at a higher level. These episodes don't change much on the surface, but every detail feels more deliberate and polished. Us viewers might not notice exactly what makes the episode stand out, but by the end, you just know it was incredible. Take for example, the Declaration of War episode from Attack on Titan. The episode don't really reinvent the show's style, they simply refine everything the show already does well. In the case with episode 7 of Dandadan, I think it perfectly blends the ambitious or artistic approach with the let's do everything we've done but better, as it features not just a lot more creative animation cuts, but also stronger drawings overall. Every moving pieces move at a right pace, with music used perfectly to create the right tone, building the tension till it finally reaches its climax that is breathtaking yet heart-wrenching at the same time. While the earlier episodes showcased the show's trademark chaos and humor, episode 7 elevates it to new height, delivering an emotional weight the show had never reached before. It's impressive how this episode gives us a mix of emotions, by conveying a feeling of despair and sadness but presenting it in a both visually stunning animation. Honestly, this is one of those episodes that deserves its own video with more in-depth analysis, because talking about it in a video like this won't do it justice. Plus, it would make this video more than 20 minutes long, with more than half of the video would be about how good the episode is, which is not what I want. But with what I just said, it's saying something about it, right? Now, as much as I have complimented Dandadan, I do want to mention some of the flaws it has. No show is without its flaws, and this one is no exception. For starters, while the show balances serious and comedic moments very well, the transition between them can sometimes feel abrupt. One minute, you're in the middle of an intense scene, and the next, it shifts to quirky humor. While this doesn't bother me that much, I couldn't say the same thing for the general audience. Same goes with people's complaint about the colors of the show, I guess. Personally, I think it's brilliant how they take advantage of colors, but clearly it's not everyone's cup of tea. Another potential downside, and the last one, is the show's sheer weirdness. Though the absurdity is part of its charm, it's also a double-edged sword. For some, the over-the-top elements might be a turn-off, making it harder to connect with the story or characters. But that's basically it for the flaws of Dandadan. Whether you count those as minor criticisms or not, I think they're still worth mentioning. Regardless of the flaws I had with it, I do think Dandadan is a great show that offers a lot of great things, and the flaws that it has aren't enough to distract me from the show's enjoyability. I mean, this show really opens up with the most banger opening. It has tons of references to pop culture, Japanese folklore, and aliens. It also has crazy actions and a sprinkle of romance throughout. What more can I ask for? It's truly one hell of a ride.